So, guess what? It is officially Dallas week. So, we're going to talk about Dallas. We're going to talk about Jaden Daniels, and we're going to start talking about it right now. Welcome, everybody, back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs channel. This is a podcast, of course, dedicated to news and commentary for the Washington Commanders. I am your host, Greg Sykes. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. And also, when you do, hit that notification bell to be notified for all videos, not just a few, but all stinking one of these videos, because I think you'll get something out of this channel. And if anything, maybe you'll be entertained. So it's officially Dallas week. And Dallas, of course, got crushed on Monday Night Football against the Houston Texans. They are the walking wounded, and they are basically struggling to find their identity at this point. I feel like things are falling apart quite a bit for the Dallas Cowboys. So they are limping up into the DMV this weekend to take on our Washington Commanders. Washington, of course, has been on a 2-game losing streak. Two really, really good teams back to back that just, it was disappointing with the Eagles loss, certainly. But, the Pittsburgh Steelers loss, that one, they should have won. Honestly, it's good measure and stick to see how close this team is. And I think this team is very close. I really think this team is very close. But now they have an opportunity to beat up on the Dallas Cowboys team that is on the ropes, that is wounded. They've lost their starting quarterback, Dak Prescott, for the year. And so now you're going to be dealing with Cooper Rush. And just overall, Dallas, that they have been unhealthy. Of course, they did get Micah Parsons back. So, Micah Parsons, I tell you, that is always a big thing there, having him. And, the Commanders are, of course, they're going to have to keep Parsons in check. That is somebody who could be a big disruptor. And so hopefully Brandon Coleman and company will be able to do what they can. And I'm sure that they'll move Micah Parsons around to either side to get the best advantage. But overall, this is a very winnable game, certainly. A lot of Commanders fans are looking at this game and looking ahead. Probably not always the smartest thing, but that's what we do. Hopefully, by the bye, we're looking at 9-4. We would like to think that is a strong possibility. And then, you get healthy. Hopefully, we get Marshawn Lattimore for this game, and hopefully we'll have him for the rest of the season, which should be a tremendous boost to that secondary for the Washington Commanders. But the one person that we're really interested in is Jaden Daniels. And Jaden Daniels has not played that well. I mean, let's just face it. He has not really played. He didn't play very well against, you see my cat back here, Coco, who likes to disrupt. He has not really played very well. Not the Jaden Daniels that we're used to seeing in the last couple of games. And part of that, I think, is still the injury. Now, I know that there's been a back and forth on this in social media as far as, is Dan Quinn lying to us? Jaden Daniels lying to us? Are they trying to cover this up? Is Jaden Daniels actually still hurt? Because, one thing, somebody had posted a comparison of similar throws of Jaden Daniels against the Giants, and then, of course, the throw they had against the Eagles. Very similar, almost identical throws. Of course, in the Giants game, he threw over top of the defender perfectly to, I don't know, it may have been Noah Brown. I can't remember who he was throwing to. He was definitely throwing to Noah Brown in the Eagles game. Similar pass. That pass landed at Noah Brown's feet. And so then the questions started coming in as to what what is wrong. There has to be something very wrong. I'm sorry, my cat is just interrupting this podcast like crazy. Um, Something has to be wrong with Jaden Daniels. Maybe his ribs are hurting him more than what he's saying. And of course, Jaden Daniels, he's come out and he has said, "Look, if I was injured, if I couldn't play, if it was affecting my play, I would not be playing." And over and over again, Dan Quinn has said Jaden Daniels is not hurt. Well, then is it the fact that Jaden Daniels was playing really good defenses and those defenses were knocking his timing off, forcing him to throw bad throws, pressuring him, not able, he wasn't able to scramble and run. The Eagles kept him in check. Probably between the Steelers and Eagles, that was the best I've ever seen a team keep Jaden Daniels in check, especially Eagles. I give them props for that. They kept Jaden Daniels in the pocket and really wouldn't let him step up. And if he stepped up, he's going to probably try to run to get some yards, and they just would not let him loose. So they played him perfectly. Now, I don't think that they can play him like that every single game. At some point, Jaden Daniels is going to figure out the Philadelphia Eagles defense, and he's going to burn them. But for, this past Thursday, last week, certainly they kept him in check. But Jaden Daniels is going to have to get what I call some rebound games. And I think the Dallas Cowboys game, Dallas still has a pretty good defense, okay? But they've been hurt, they've been banged up. And I think this is a good opportunity for Jaden Daniels to come back and to get some of that confidence back, to show people, look, I'm just fine. Don't worry about it. And I think that this is really the big kicker because a lot of people right now are panicking. They're looking at Jaden Daniels as, oh no, this is RG3 all over again. You know, RG3 gets his injury and then he was never the same. I do think you guys are looking at the cat, aren't you? Uh, I do think that this, of course, is, well, rib injuries are extremely painful. I don't think that this is nearly the same as an ACL MCL tear. So I think, and of course, the medical staff has done everything they could to keep those ribs in good shape for Daniels. But I do want to see Daniels pass better downfield. That was the other thing, too. You got to understand this Eagles game, they did not let the receivers open. I think Terry McLaurin had one pass to him. The receivers have to get open. And I think once you see the receivers open, you'll see Jaden Daniels being able to make more of those passes. But he was running for his life. This was honestly more of the type of play that honestly I was expecting out of a rookie quarterback, of Jaden Daniels, because I figured, A, that offensive line got abused, and B, Jaden Daniels, he didn't have any time. Tried to run for his life, couldn't because they kept him contained. They sacked him, they pressured him, and they just threw him off of his game. And so we got to see Jaden Daniels get back to what he was doing earlier in the season for the Commanders to be able to go on a good win streak. Right now, I mean, I have confidence that this team can win the next couple of games, get into their bye, get super healthy, and start to make a good run toward the end of the season. Um, I do think that they can win 10, 11 games. I think it's going to take 11 games, honestly, for them to get into playoffs. So if you're looking at that, you really want this Commanders team healthy down the stretch. And so for Jaden Daniels, he has got to show us that he's healthy because right now, a lot of us are like, we're not seeing it. Yes, we're seeing him struggle against better defenses, but at the same time, we're seeing him also not being able to make some passes when they are there that he was making earlier in the season. Season wears you down as you go along. I mean, we saw this with Howell last year. You know, he was making some of those great passes, and then second half of the season was a different story. Just, the toll of the season overall really begins to set in, and that's when you start to really separate the elite quarterbacks from the rest of the guys.